Hi guys, watch this video to see how I turn this into this. I've been wanting to replace my old dresser forever, and I finally found a method that I had to try. So I came across this YouTube video by Chelsea called How to Paint Furniture to Look Like Wood, and I decided to test it out on a dresser that I found on OfferUp. Here are the materials you need: sanding block, 60 grit, paint rollers, chip brushes, primer, paint, base wood color, decorative glaze, Java brown color, and a top coat. So the method is super easy and simple. You basically sand, add primer, paint, add glaze on top with the chip brush to create the wood grain texture and pattern, and then finish with the top coat, and that's it. Just so you know why I'm doing this, I was inspired by this book that I came across. It's called Create at Home with Old and New. It's about mixing old things with new modern things. It emphasizes the importance of sustainability in interior design, encouraging people to think imaginatively about repurposing and reusing items to create spaces that are both stylish and environmentally friendly. I'll leave a link to this book below in the description. I think my house is pretty modern and built not too long ago, and so I like to incorporate pieces that brings in some kind of older element whenever I get a chance. I think I take care of my furniture pretty well. We have this dresser from IKEA for like at least 10 years. It's still in great condition. It does what we want it to do, which is to act as a tabletop, to place things on, and to store things. However, I've been wanting to replace it with something that will bring a little more warmth to our room for a long time, and I wanted something a little more sturdy. I've been constantly searching, and the nice ones that I found are just so expensive. I also want it at a specific size. I don't like paying a lot of money for furniture because things go in and out of trends. I don't mind paying for collectibles or art or little designer knickknacks here and there, but for furniture it's a little different for me, especially if they're what I call staging furniture, where I won't be using it every single day, so I don't want to pay a lot of money for those. However, they still need to look good. I also find joy in building, reviving things, so I set out to look for my dresser on OfferUp. I didn't have a specific design in mind. I knew that I wanted something simple, sturdy, solid, and like I said, it also has to be a specific size, and I know that when I see it, it would click to me. Sure enough, one day I scrolled through OfferUp and found one for 80 bucks. Picked it up right away, and this is what it looks like. It was like this red mahogany color from like the early 2000s, like what my grandma would still have. All the hardware and drawers were still working perfectly. It really just has normal wear and tear. This is my first time reviving a piece of furniture with this method, so I follow her instruction pretty closely. So step one is sanding. I actually hate sanding, but it's necessary. I bought a Ryobi sander for like 50 bucks for this project. I initially sanded off all the mahogany stains, but if I were to do it again, I would only sand lightly, just enough for the primer to adhere. Step two, adding the wood detailing. So I wanted to add some texture, so I applied this fluted style wood slats to the top drawers and sides. My design is more of like mini slats. I used leftover thin plywood from my previous projects, ripped them into 1/2-inch strips, and nail gunned them onto the dresser. And I only applied to the top 3 drawers and the sides of the dresser. So step 3, priming and painting. I applied 2 coats of primer to fully cover the whole entire dresser. After that, I painted 2 coats of this color called base wood. Make sure you cover all the white primer with this paint. Then step 4, creating the wood grain with glaze. This is my first time doing this method, and I have learned through this process. My tip for those wanting to try this out is do this under well-lit lighting. The less glaze, the better. Apply the glaze evenly throughout so you don't get a spot that's darker than the others. The key is your chip brush. This is what's going to create the wood grain texture and pattern. So pick a surface you want to try first, use the chip brush to apply a little of glaze. A little goes a long way, so brush it evenly in one direction depending on your surface. If you want your wood grain to have a horizontal pattern, brush it horizontal. If you want it to have a vertical, brush it vertical. Then you take a dry chip brush, go over that surface again to take away the glaze and to make that wood grain even more prominent. The lighter you want your furniture, after each dry brush stroke, wipe it with a paper towel and go over that surface again. And then you just repeat the process until you're satisfied with your color. Here's a detailed look of the wood grain. The last step is sealing with the top coat. So since this is a dresser that I'll have items placed on top, I sealed it with mint wax polyacrylic clear matte finish, and I applied just one thin coat of it. Instead of painting the drawer interiors like the outside, I lined them with floral wallpaper I found on sale. I've always wanted to use floral wallpaper somewhere, and this was the perfect opportunity to use them. Both Lowe's and Walmart has this wallpaper. After everything is done, I decided to reuse the original hardware. They complement the dresser really well now that it's a different color. Here's the finished product. I absolutely love it. I think overall I spent less than $100 on materials minus the sander. This is the first time I am using this technique. I actually applied this method to a set of nightstands, and I'll make a video about that soon. I love that there's imperfection here and there. It adds character and create a contrast against the modern aesthetics of my interior. I saved so much money by doing this, and for me it's a way of therapy where I can create or recreate and work on things with my own hands. I chose not to paint the parts where it's not visible or the parts that I don't see often, but that's just my personal choice. I was just experimenting with this project. I think it makes the space look so much more opened. I love how the wood details came out. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions or comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, and until the next video.